I'm Jordan.
This is Unedited.
Okay. Joy.
Joy to the world.
Wow. Wow. You know what? Last week you were singing my favorite things, Joy to the World this week.
I know.
Have you considered releasing a Christmas album?
I have.
I think that's got to be in your plans going forward.
No.
Well, welcome to Unedited. We're glad that you joined us again here. We're back for week 3 of a few of our favorite things. Last week we talked a bit about movies. Today we're going to move that discussion, I think, to music, which is kind of a thing I sort of like a little bit.
Favorite thing, yeah.
So what's in the news this week? Anything new?
Well, in the news the last couple weeks, actually, has been this new song by Ed Sheeran and Elton John.
That's right.
Called Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
What do you think of the song? Because I really want to talk about the video more than I want to talk about the song. But what was your initial feeling when you heard the music?
See, and you threw me for a loop there because that's exactly where I wanted to go to was with the music video. But the song's actually, it's good. It's nice. I don't know.
It's festive.
The melody's there. I like that it says Merry Christmas in it. And it's not a bad song by any means. I don't think it's going to be the next, All I Want for Christmas Is You by like Mariah Carey or anything.
I don't know.
On that kind of scale. But I guess, I could be wrong and eating crow about this, I guess, next year, right? But no, I thought the song was pretty good. The video, though, what did you think of that?
I loved it. Basically, anything you can think to do with the winter and Christmas is all jammed into one video.
Totally.
Right? You've got stockings and mistletoe and presents and a flying snowman. Whoa, that was a little weird. There's like a little kitty cat. There's snow fights. There's snow angels. Like you name it and it's in there. Elton John on a huge bright red piano. Just awesome, right?
I thought it was perfect. Yeah, it was like Hallmark Christmas almost, right? Like everything that you wanted to see in there was in there. Snow fights. It had like a really warm feeling, I found, right? And like almost like I want to go to one of those Christmas parties that they're having in the house,
because they're like dancing
everyone's
in
like
the
having
house.
a blast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who parties like that at Christmas, right? Like, anyways, I thought it was cool.
It was good, and there's one part in it which maybe some people will miss out, but I'd watched it a few times, and there's this one like moment where this thing goes flying across the screen.
Right, by Elton?
No, not that.
Okay.
That's a whole nother thing. But on the screen, there's just a black screen, and there's this flying thing. It's a sausage roll. It's a sausage roll, which, might mean nothing to you in Canada, but in the UK, like, they're all about their sausage rolls, right? Like, this is so important. This has been part of my life, my whole life. So anyways, but no, then so I started, like, investigating, taking a look around, and there was an interview with Ed Sheeran, and he said that he almost killed Elton John. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like so dramatic. But in the scene when he's like in this sexy Santa outfit, which is so lame, by the way, in his shorts and his white boots, he kicks the present.
Yeah.
He just like boots the present. Well, there is, if you pause it, you'll look and you'll see there's a big metal bell on it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the bell like shot across the room and almost hit Elton in the head.
Yeah.
And so like they actually paused the video, like put it in slow motion, and it was like so close to hitting Elton John.
Oh my goodness gracious! Can you imagine?
I know.
So it would have gone down. That's cool though. That's good background about the video and the song. I thought all in all it was pretty good. It made me feel kind of happy when I watched it.
Yeah.
It's very festive, kind of Christmassy. Speaking of Christmassy, let's start talking about some favorite Christmas albums. Now, we brought some records with us today just to kind of talk about that a little bit. I think I just have a thing about top fives, okay? So I'm going to start there a little bit today. But one of the Christmas albums that kind of gets me into the season every year is this Home Alone soundtrack.
What a great cover.
Like,
what a great,
I love it.
Yeah.
And if you pull the sleeve out, it's actually like a mimic of the house that happened in the show.
So cool.
And, this
it's the lady, right? The mannequin guy. Oh, yes, that's so cool.
The whole thing, how he was trying to stage the event. And this is the John Williams soundtrack. It's just like the brass and like the symphony. My wife and I, about 5-6 years ago, actually had an opportunity to see a Home Alone like viewing of the show.
You guys told me,
in Winnipeg, where the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra literally played every music scene.
To the movie or something, you said, right?
Yeah, we were watching the movie, and every time music came on, they came in. It was awesome. It's probably the best viewing of the movie I've had. So.
It's almost like a decorative piece for the house.
I like it.
Do you know what I mean? So many people out there maybe don't have records. Jordan is all about the records, not the iTunes or the Spotify or whatever it is. So he's got all the albums. So it was hard for me because I listen to lots on iTunes.
Yeah.
Or I have old CDs and old tapes, believe it or not. Yeah. And so for me today, it was hard because everything I listened to is old. Okay. Elvis, Beatles, Johnny Cash, those are like my top 3 go-tos of all time, always in all music.
All good go-tos.
Like all go-tos. So Elvis's traditional albums, where he's got some of his own plus some old traditional albums, I had to call my good old pop. Okay. And because these are in my iTunes, but I don't have the original albums. These are the original albums from the 70s.
I love how shiny that cover is.
Like the 70 and 71. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Right? Like super awesome. And I was telling Jordan just before we started that this is like gold. Like the fact that we have these on Unedited is like a whole nother subject.
Yeah, it's so glossy.
The first thing he said to me was, well, are you going to play it? No, Dad. We're just going to have them on the show, and that's it.
I should have set up a table here.
So Dad had one of those old record players with the 8-tracks in them. Do you remember the ones that like pulled up? There'd be a record player, the 8-track player. So he would play it once. He would open the album once. He'd put it on, and he would record it on an 8-track, and then eventually into cassette tapes, and it would never, ever be touched again. So my dad has so many records. You'd just love to go through his library, I bet. But yeah, anyways, so absolutely, these are my 2 favorite albums, and then there's somebody called Shakin' Stevens.
Yes, you mentioned Shakin' Stevens.
Who's very similar sound to Elvis. He's from the UK, and it's called Merry Christmas Everyone. It's my ultimate favorite album.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
You'll have to. You're gonna have to go to iTunes because you can't buy the records here. You'd have to order them. But yes, you got to check it out until you hear this Merry Christmas Everyone song. It is the best song, so you got to hear it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to mention a modern one. This is Ingrid Michaelson's Songs for the Season. This is so good. Me and Nick just bought this on a whim one day. It's got a cute little picture on the back,
I like
actually.
The cover, yeah.
And it's just, it's excellent. Me and Zara sing to this kind of all the time. While she sings, I make some sort of noises.
Traditional Christmas kind of songs?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. It's got most of them in there. I'm going to mention also quickly one of the classics for me, Boney M. I love this album. I look forward to listening to it every year. I think I went through a phase with this where my mom played this when we grew up, and so I liked it growing up. And then when I was a teenager, this was like the most uncool thing ever, right? So I never listened to it. And then when I became an adult, I sort of had this nostalgia for it and came back to it.
They've been here a few times too, hey?
Yeah.
And it like sells out in like seconds.
So
right?
Yeah, this one's always a highlight to listen to.
That's awesome.
Every year.
Okay, so I have another one.
Okay.
It's country, though.
Nice.
Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Come on, people, look at the cover. Could they look any more like Santa Claus? Anyways, great album, but actually, I really like one of Kenny Rogers' songs, and it's called, what is it called? Children Go Where I Send Thee. Nice. It's a very, very old song, but it's excellent. So, yeah, I'm like, look at them. I just love it with the reindeer and everything.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, look at the back.
Yeah, they just don't do it. There's a Christmas scene.
Right? So this, I think, was the 90s.
I like it.
No, 80s. 1984.
I like it. I'm going to mention a few more. The Christmas song, Nat King Cole, Something Warm About His Voice. So I'm going to geek out here just for 1 second. I got to show you this record. It was pressed on candy cane vinyl.
Look at that!
Super cool pressing. Definitely something we listen to every year. Going along with that, I'm going to mention Big Crosby's Merry Christmas. This is for you, Donna. I know you're a fan. So put this on every year. It's a favorite in the house. And one more that I'm going to recommend that maybe some of you aren't familiar with is Sufjan Stevens' Songs for Christmas, volumes 1 to 5. Now, this is like a big box set that came with a bunch of records, but you could find this on all streaming platforms. It's got traditional, it's got his own songs. Some of them are happy and joyful, and some of them are actually also
Let me see the
just
people.
A little bit sad. Yeah, it's got a cool picture on the back, actually, of just family.
Inflatable Santa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and blue decorations.
Yeah, we're going to let that be just for today, okay? But it's an awesome album. Listen to the song if you want to start with something. Starved Wonder, so good. Some of the songs are happy, some of them are a little more melancholy, and I think that's worth noting that during the Christmas season,
I think so.
Although it's fun for a lot of people, for some people it's a difficult time, right? And
the hardest time.
Yeah, because it's just not as exciting. Maybe you've suffered loss. Maybe it's just one of those times a year that brings up tough memories and people that you miss and whatnot. And so just in memory of that, our friend Ethan's going to play a song today, and we're just going to kind of talk about it after he's done. So check out Ethan.
It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down the trees, they're putting up the reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. Make a lot of money and I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. Tried hard to help me, she put me at ease. She loved me so naughty and made me weak at the knees. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Gone and lost the best baby that I have ever had. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodnight. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down the trees, they're putting up the reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on.
Well, thanks so much for that. That was just good to hear. And I think that song's important at this time of year because it never actually, I don't think it was ever intended to be a Christmas song per se. It's a song written by Joni Mitchell called River, and it was on her famous album Blue. And later on, probably about 10, 20 years ago, Sarah McLachlan put it on her Christmas album Winter Song and popularized it.
And that's how I knew it, was from that version. Yeah.
And she's done one, CeeLo Green's done one, Blue Rodeo's done one. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have covered it since, but it kind of became known as a Christmas song. And the idea behind that song and the lyrics in it talks about, just wanting to escape. Just, it's coming on Christmas. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Just kind of get away from things. And I think for a lot of people, that's what the season feels like. Yeah. It's like the old Charlie Brown line from the movie where he says, I just don't feel how I'm supposed to feel at this time of year. And I think for a lot of people, that's a real reality. And so, so we wanted to share that song. It's a beautiful song. It's a song of longing. It's a song of, in a lot of ways, hoping for better times, but also recognizing kind of the present. And, with that and with keeping that in mind, I want to invite you to something that's actually happening in Saskatoon this coming Sunday, December 19th, 6 p.m. It's a Blue Christmas service, and it's happening at the neighborhood church in Saskatoon through 233 Pine House Drive. It's a time where you could just come and maybe you've experienced loss this year. Maybe Christmas is always a difficult time for you, and you could just use some people to kind of gather with and just kind of reflect on and just kind of have a time where you're just allowed to be who you are and how you feel in the season. So we want to invite you to that. And we just want to encourage you to join us. If that's something that could be good for you this season, join us this Sunday at the neighborhood church.
It's coming on Christmas, cutting down the trees, putting up the reindeer.
I'm super excited. We are at Caswell School today, and we have the honor of serving lunch to a ton of kids, like over 200 kids. Christmas dinner. And Destiny is the coordinator. She's the one in charge of all of this. We're so excited to be here. Why do you guys put on a holiday lunch?
Well, with community schools, a big part of it is, community. We absolutely love our students in these areas of the city that most people look at as underprivileged. Our kids, it is the best day ever doing these holiday lunches. As Yasmin said, we've got over 200 students here at Caswell School, and getting together for these events, it just brings us all together as a tight-knit group, which is important, especially as COVID has more or less separated it that way. So,
well, it's family. It's Christmas dinner, right? With your school family, right?
It's so much fun. Between teachers and staff, everybody is always like, holiday happening, when's it going on? What are we doing? So it's a festive time. It's awesome.
So good.
Huge celebration.
You excited, Jordan?
I am excited, yeah.
Mr. Christmas here?
Looking forward to it. Always.
Yeah.
Well, that was just an awesome day. We were so honored to be able to be serving and invited to Caswell School. Destiny invited us out to serve this festive holiday lunch to Caswell School students, and it was just such a blast, wasn't it?
I agree. Yeah, it was so good. And you know what? The students were so excited for it. This apparently is a tradition that they weren't allowed to do last year, right? Because of the whole COVID thing started up. But I was able to talk to one of the teachers, and he was going on about how excited he was to have this back. And you could just see it all over the kids' faces.
I know.
They were just jacked.
They were so excited, even to get the vegetables. They were putting the vegetables on. He was in charge of the potatoes, which were like gold there, right?
Yes, yeah. Potatoes were like the
hot item there. Yeah, it was awesome. And the kids were so awesome and friendly and polite, and the staff was great. So anyways, anytime you guys need our help, we want to be there. We love that school.
Absolutely. And speaking of that school, I'm just going to make mention of this. That's a beautiful school, right? Like it reminded me of like older times. Like last week I talked about one of my favorite Christmas movies, A Christmas Story, made me long for those simpler times. And like that, just that nostalgic feel. That's what that school felt like to me. Totally. Everything in it was just so nice, and I don't know, I wish I attended that school. So.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's fun being with you.
Yeah, it was so good. And then we also got up to some shenanigans as well this week that we want you to check out. So, and you're actually going to see Ashley in a video this week. Yes. So it was myself and Ashley and Jordan, and check out what we did.
One more, okay?
Okay, so that was fun.
Very
fun.
Yep.
And the suits, like, We can totally pull off the suits. All of us can. What did you think of it?
I thought it was good. You know, I didn't know what to expect before we were going there. It felt almost like a workout in a way, right? Because like instead of just like being like, you know, calm about it and flicking things,
you were like a serious baseball player. You were like rounding up and like flick.
We were like, how much paint can we get on this canvas, right? So I had so much fun. I thought it was good. I think it's a good experience. I'd recommend checking it out.
So should we show them our masterpiece?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay,
Let's reveal it.
Here's the big reveal.
This is what we came up with.
Look!
Isn't that awesome?
It's our logo. We can't take credit for the taping, though. That's strictly Ashley. We can just take credit for lots of whipping of paint. But yes, we love it. It's a little keepsake, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons we went and checked it out was, I mean, obviously it's fun, but we were talking about Christmas this year. And Christmas gifts. And I mean, lots of people are talking about how stores are out of everything and everything's taking forever. But even aside from that, how much junk we all have, right?
Yeah.
So some people who are fortunate enough to have gifts and buy what they want, it's just more stuff. So we were trying to think of some good ideas to suggest for Christmas gifts this year. So we thought giving an experience would be a good idea, which is kind of why we checked out Wet Paint Pottery, so that we could see what kind of experience it was if we wanted to give it as a gift to somebody, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's tons of experiences in this city that you can give out for a Christmas gift this year. This past week, just the Persephone Theater, we talked about it last week. We saw It's a Wonderful Life this week. It was so good, awesome. Check it out before it's done.
So good.
But they have other plays coming up this year. There's one starting in February called Mountaintop. I think it deals with the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Buy that for someone. That'd be an experience and a half.
And it's a local theater, which is awesome too, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe buy dinner as well. You could do dinner and theater, depending what kind of money you have. Maybe you've got some kids in your life. Don't just get a Toys R Us gift card. Maybe like go and get a Apex, you know, the trampoline park. Get them a gift card and maybe a gift card for McDonald's, and they can have kind of like a treat, and then they can go and jump on the trampoline, or maybe not in that order. Maybe it should go the other way around. But, you know, things like that, right?
Absolutely. There's sports, there's Blades games, Rush games, Rattler games, and all the sugar and good food you want for sale there, right? And those are all good options. Concerts, there's going to be concerts. Live music's kind of back when Eruption's happening in the city soon.
Well, and depending on how much money you want to spend, I mean, you could do a staycation where someone stayed the night in a hotel with a family. You know, there's ones with water slides and stuff. So like, what a great night out for a family and things like that. So anyways, just gift ideas, you know, there's nothing quite like experiences versus stuff, right? So, I mean, I suggest it. I recommend it.
I agree. Support local and give someone an experience this year.
Yeah, and we have a gift card for Wet Paint Pottery that we are going to give away. So if you still have someone on your Christmas list that would like to check that out, we are giving that away. So all you need to do to be entered into the draw is to tag somebody in this post. The more people you tag, the more entries you get. Yeah. Right? So you can keep it for yourself if you want and do the splatter room, or you can actually paint pots, make coffee cups. There was a pineapple coffee cup that I really wanted. There's tons of different things, plates and stuff you can do, piggy banks. So if you want to do that now, just go right ahead right now and just tag somebody in this, and you'll be entered to win. Well, now we're getting to our talk, which I'm excited about because we are about to light the third candle, the pink candle. It's joy.
It is joy, and I like it. It's the coolest looking candle, I think.
It's the pink one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, something different. So joy is quite possibly the deepest, most common motivator for all people. Right? If you think about it, we go to great lengths to be happy. Yeah. To feel joy, right? When you discover something really, really good, you can't help but respond to it. It's like it draws something out of you, an excitement out of you. That moment of discovery, that split second, that spontaneous split second flutter of delight that you get when something's really good, right? That's joy, right? And so today I'm going to take you to the Bible. I'm going to take you to the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 10. Many people, even if you're not familiar with scripture, have probably heard a little bit about the Christmas story. So some of this might be common knowledge to you, but we're going to look at chapter 2, verse 10. But the angel reassured them, "Don't be afraid," he said. "I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all people." Now, when I was thinking about this week, I was thinking about how sudden news can drastically change things, right? Like how it can change things. I was thinking of bad stuff, of course, first. It seems to be where our mind goes, unfortunately. But when you think about a soldier who's been killed in action and they get another soldier to go to the door to deliver the news. The moment that door is knocked on and that door is opened, it is a defining moment that's unfolded, right? Suddenly everything changes for that family or for that wife or for that parent, whatever that is. How about the ring of a phone, right? Or a text, I guess, these days, which can bring not so good news. The caller might be known to you, maybe not known to you. The news could be that you didn't get the job, you know, or you're getting laid off, or maybe you didn't get the house that you had wanted to get. The news could be death in the family. It could be an accident, and just suddenly everything changes. But there are moments of good news that define our lives as well.
Absolutely.
Right? That knock on the door that brings a child home, or a surprise visit from a friend. I don't know if you've ever been surprised by somebody you had no idea what was going to. It is the most amazing feeling. I've got to do it for people too, which is so great. But or the ring of the phone when you have a birth announcement, or maybe you got the job was a yes. You got hired at the job. You got the house, right? Suddenly everything changes. These moments, good or not so good, can change and do change the course of our life. So in the scripture that I read today, these shepherds are out in this field. They did not have a door to open or a phone to answer, but the good news did come. And it says that they were afraid.
Yeah.
We know that because it's the very first thing that the angel says is don't be afraid, right? So I'm kind of guessing that the angel didn't look like anything that we see in our nativity sets, right? Or in our or even the plays, right? I kind of wonder myself if this angel was this fierce warrior that appeared, or maybe this huge bright light that filled the sky, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because oftentimes we get this idea that angels are just these cute little
with wings and
characters,
flying around.
exactly, that show up in cartoons and whatnot. But like, you're right, the first thing the angel says is don't be afraid. So obviously there was something there that would have jarred them, right? That would have been something, perhaps something that we wouldn't have expected, that would have caused some fear to
for sure. But whatever the angel looked like, because clearly we don't know for sure, the shepherds were taken off guard, right? And the angel appeared without warning. It says that it suddenly appeared. Maybe it just freaked them out. Who knows what happened, right? And while the shepherds tried not to be afraid, they heard good news of great joy. And what is the great joy? It's our Savior. It's Jesus. It's the Messiah. The promised King has finally arrived. And joy is found in Jesus, right? Just like we talked about love and peace, joy is found in Jesus. So you have to imagine, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the one that's been promised, okay, talked about for hundreds and hundreds of years, the one that's anticipated for generations has finally arrived on earth. The joy, the great joy that would have been there would have been so undescribable.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And I wonder, did they jump up and down like we do in our sporting events, right? Like, who did on Sunday with the Bombers, where you jumping up and down so excited.
Yeah, that was a little tense in the house probably. My poor daughters had a tough time getting to sleep that night with me pacing around the living room likely, but...
That's the only time he gets about talking about it. Or did they hug each other, just when they got shared this news and they were just so excited? Or did they look at one another in belief, but it was surpassing unbelief and this wonder? I don't know. No one knew his time that he was going to arrive. No one knew, okay? He didn't know when he was going to be born, what day that was going to be, and no one knows the time that Jesus is going to return. But what we do know, that even amongst all of our fears, all of our struggles, he has arrived. Jesus has arrived, and he brings great joy to us all. Absolutely. And I think we all know this song and we sing it often. Joy to the world. The Lord is come. Now what? Comes to our now what? Our action points of the day. So spreading joy can make the biggest difference in someone's life, right? Or maybe just even in their day, maybe not their life, right? Like it doesn't have to be so dramatic, but you can really change the course of someone's day by bringing them some Christmas cheer, some Christmas joy. Christmas is meant to be a celebration. It's not this chore that we should be so sad about, like, right? Don't let our busyness and buying presents spoil the fun and the joy that you can really find in Christmas. So we want to give you some ideas. I know many of them might seem similar from week to week, but this week I was thinking that one great one would be to reconcile a relationship. Maybe there's a relationship in your life that is not good, or maybe it's just not that great, or maybe it's completely broken. Maybe Christmas could be an excuse for you to give them a call and bring some joy into your life and into theirs.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And just reach out, and you know what? That changes so much, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps something you can do is just something practical. Maybe you could do something for the neighbors. I don't know if you've ever pulled into your driveway during like a snowstorm and realized that somebody shoveled it, or that somebody...
It's like, oh, right? This is the best moment. Yeah.
In my last neighborhood I lived in, there was this gentleman on the corner who did everyone's driveways, and that goes such a long way. So maybe you could shovel someone's lot for them. I think you'd make them really happy. There'd be some joy there.
Yeah, and just be extra cheery. I don't know. When you pass people, say hello. If you're going through the door, hold it open for them. Say Merry Christmas to people, right? Just spread some love, some joy, some happiness all around. So if today you have any questions about what you heard, things that don't make sense, maybe... you don't know who Jesus is, maybe you don't understand how we can find joy in him, please feel free to give us a message, an email, however you want to do that. I know some people might not be comfortable in the comments, but of course we've got those, Instagram messages as well as the email that's appearing on the screen. So
yeah, no, we'd definitely love to hear from you, be able to answer any questions you have, and be able to help you along in this season. I'm going to end today just with a blessing, an Advent blessing that focuses on joy. And so here it is for you. May you experience true joy today. Despite where you find yourself, may the good news of Jesus encourage you. May it strengthen you. May it fill your heart with love. God, keep us focused on you and your gift to us in this season of Advent. Amen. And so I just want to encourage you, be encouraged today. The joy of the true Christmas story, it finds you wherever you are. And thanks so much for joining us. We hope you have a great week.
Well, you know what? This might be hard this week because of this ginormous bow.
Yeah, I know. It's going to get in the way, eh? Thanks, Nick. Thanks for joining us on Unedited. Have a great week. Something wrong with that.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything's wrong.
No, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, he's judging me lots.
I'm not judging.
But he is going to tell me I'm a good singer later, so.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I got to say happy, joy.
Do you?
Are you just going to hold the lighter like that?